Welcome to Midweek News, episode 92 for September 5th, 2024. Let's get started. The Linux Uncomplicated Firewall, or UFW, configuration made easy. This is a command line tutorial on UFW. The only thing that could potentially make this easier is using the GUI. Still, a great reference article for people setting up a new Linux server. EmuDeck team announces Linux-powered EmuDeck machine. Actually, two of them. The model shown is obviously inspired by the Sega Dreamcast. Currently, there are two models planned, one Intel and one AMD. This work is being funded by an Indiegogo campaign. Contribute at your own risk. Ubuntu 24.04.1 has officially dropped. This release introduces Active Directory integration and enables upgrades from 22.04 systems. Beyond that, this is your ordinary LTS update release. We will take a look at the AD integration at some future point in time. Install and use SFTP on Linux servers. This is a more involved setup, and for use outside a lab environment, something people may want to be familiar with. There are lots of options today for file sharing, but sometimes it's best to do something simple. SFTP can be that simple solution when configured properly. Shotcut 24.08 video editor is now available. It has done some major work on subtitles. Multiple subtitle tracks can be added, and you can import SRT, FTT, ASS, and SSA formats, along with several bugs and minor enhancements. The AMD Ryzen 5 7600X3D is now officially out and exclusively available at Microcenter. Available for $299 by itself, but also with the famous Microcenter bundles, which might save you a few dollars. The Linux kernel 6.12 is optionally going to display a QR code during Kernel Panics. We will see how this plays out. I'm not completely sold on the idea, but maybe I'm just set in my ways. Zorin OS, Linux for those who don't want to leave Windows. For those not in the know, Zorin OS is an Ubuntu-based chameleon-type distribution. Zorin can be made to look like Windows or Mac OS or even a more generic Ubuntu. It can be useful as a crutch for those migrating off Windows or other operating systems. Debian 12.7 Bookworm released, with 55 security updates, 51 bug fixes, and you can grab your updated ISO image today. Zeek 7 is a new major release. Zeek is an open source network traffic analyzer. Version 7 includes a comprehensive scripting update, telemetry, and analyzer configurations. Zeek can be run as a Docker container, but it can also be installed directly on most Linux distributions, macOS via Homebrew, as well as free and open BSD. Cursor, a fork of VSCode, is it the ChatGPT of coding? They are integrating multiple AI models. With this editor, I'm not much of a programmer, but I may just have to give this a try when I do my next Ansible or shell script project. Docker for beginners. This is a nice intro to Docker. They're nice enough to not leave macOS or Windows users out in the cold, because you can install Docker Desktop on those systems. Very quickly, you can go from nothing to running the simple Hello World container to verify functionality. Kdenlive 24.08.0 video editor released. This release boosts performance and brings quality of life improvements. Transcoding on NVIDIA has been fixed. Take a look at the release notes for additional changes. Proton fires another warning shot at Google Workspace. One service at a time, Proton is taking on Google. They now have a business-focused plan for Drive. Interestingly, they now offer full compliance with GDPR and HIPAA. Their infrastructure is ISO 27001 certified and backed by Swiss privacy laws and neutrality. Wireshark 4.4 has been released. I've only scratched the surface looking at the new enhancements in this version. There are many new protocols, and it just seems to feel faster in my initial testing. Your mileage may vary. You can remove Microsoft Recall. I'm sure a lot of Windows users are breathing a sigh of relief at this news. I want absolutely nothing to do with Windows Recall. It will immediately get removed on any Windows machine I have to use or administer. And last but not least, Microsoft backtracks on removing the control panel. This abomination is 39 years old. Since Redmond is still migrating functionality to the Settings app, the timeline for removing Control Panel has drifted. If I'm lucky, Control Panel will beat me to the grave. And on that note, this has been episode 92 of Midweek News. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.